So I noticed something here where I live, when I'm in public, when I'm talking to people and they're telling me stories about what happened in their day. And I'm in South Africa, okay? And what's interesting is that we all know there's a lot of crime here, there's a lot of racism, there's a lot of corruption, like especially in the police and in public servants who are supposed to be helping you. So it translates into a very interesting thing, which is that people are terrified of each other. And even if you're coming across someone in a situation where they need help, their car's broken down, or they're hitchhiking, or they're having trouble at the ATM, most people are too terrified to lend a hand, to offer to help. Because the chances are that this person might be implementing some kind of ruse to rob you, or to rape you, or to kill you. And you know what? The general consensus is, why take the chance of risking my life to help someone? I'll call the police, they can help. I'll call the manager of the center, they can help. But I personally am not going to stick my neck out for someone because the risk is too great. And you know what? I'm not okay with the effect that this has on our community, because instead of having a community that comes together in support of each other, where people are willing to help one another, that terror holds us back. It's like everything is this weighing of the risks and the pros and the cons, and the con is always death, rape, murder, robbery, torture, and when you're weighing up against odds like that, you know what? Those odds are always going to win, in most people's minds at least. And the solution to this is not exactly one that's like easy or simple, because it requires that all of us change how we live. It requires that all of us change how we respond to one another. And I can't change how someone else lives, and I can't change what they think, and I can't change how they treat people. And I can't change the fact that the economy is so terrible that people feel like the only way that they can survive is by robbing someone, and that they're so angry about their situation that they're willing to be violent. And there's a lot of things that we can't change as individuals on our own. But I'm just going to move out of the sun here a little bit. But what we can start changing, and what can have an effect in other people, is how we live in our own lives and the examples that we set. So now obviously for me, in a situation like living in South Africa, where safety is a real concern, okay, sure, I can't exactly give a lift to every hitchhiker on the side of the road. But I can speak to people differently when I do encounter people. I can treat people with respect. I can be an example of practicing understanding instead of judgment. I can open up different ways for people to consider things, and instead of being like everyone else and jumping to conclusions of like, oh yeah, that person is a robber because they're just evil, or because they're black, or because they this or that, I can rather start showing more real life considerations. Like, you know what? This person may have been born into a life that neither you nor I would ever want for ourselves or for our kids. This person may be so angry at the life that they're in, that they have no control over, that they feel that the only way that they can take some kind of control is by acting out violently. And I'm not condoning that behavior one way or the other. I'm simply saying, take a moment to understand it rather than judge it, because if we understand it, then we can say, okay, all right, now I understand where that person's coming from. What can I do to change that? What can I do to be part of the solution? I'm sorry, I'm quite distracted because these guys keep trying to stand on my feet. So being part of the solution doesn't mean that we have to be superheroes. It doesn't mean that we have to change the world on our own, because we can't. But we can be examples. We can practice principles that encourage better behavior. We can practice principles that encourage more social senses of community, more cooperation and interdependence, rather than isolated units of terrified individuals or families who are just trying to survive. So yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it goes against everything that we ever were taught growing up. It goes against the reality even of what the world is. But the truth is that that's what we need to do. We need to be different. We need to live differently to how we've been living. Because how we've been living, how we've been treating each other, how we've been thinking, how we've been communicating has created this fuck up. And that is the reality. It has created this world that we're in. And we can either be part of perpetuating it or be part of creating something different. So that's what I choose. Because I'm not okay with how things are. I'm not okay with how we treat each other. I'm not okay with how much we live in fear. And I don't really think that anyone is okay with it. Not really. Anyway, thank you for watching. You're going to see me next time.